Hi, thanks for joining me. This is Struggling to Whistle. This is part explanation of where I disappeared to and part I feel like a shitty parent right now. Okay, I tried to put my son to bed and he sobbed, broke his little heart. So I held him, sang to him and read him a story and put him in his cot, and my husband then went in and got him up. So now I feel like the shitty parent that put him to bed crying, whilst my husband is the, knight in armour rescuing him from his cart. And that's not to say that my husband's done a bad thing or, is in any way to blame for these feelings that I'm having. It's just that a feeling I'm having, And generally, my son is very happy-go-lucky and normally goes to bed really easily, but not tonight. So now I'm questioning whether there was something wrong, bearing in mind that he just had a bath, so he went to bed clean, dry, with a cup of juice, normal. But anyway, so that's how I'm feeling right now. That's not to say that there haven't been some fantastic moments just recently with my son, particularly during my absence from here. There was the time that he'd found a squirty bottle outside and I'd told him to take it outside, so he took it outside and pointed it in the house to spray it. I can't say how much of a genius my son is, and that he actually followed orders whilst making a tremendous mess. He actually would have made less mess if he'd sprayed it in the house. Anyway, and he's getting more and more active, so he's learnt to spin in a circle, which he never does on soft surfaces like grass or carpet. He always chooses like concrete or hardwood flooring, just to cause maximum injuries. None to be had so far, by the way. So he now spins, he throws himself off the furniture and then laughs. He also pretends to hurt himself now as well. He'll be banging the side of his cot with his hand and we'll be looking in and he hasn't seen us, and then as soon as he sees us he holds his head and goes, "Ow." And you're like, "No, I saw you. It wasn't your head, was it?" Do you know what I mean? So there have been some wonderful moments with him. He's getting more. He's turning into a real little boy, full of mess and chaos and slight aggression, like in the supermarket. Obviously, he sits in the trolley, and he has to inspect everything that we put in the trolley, and particularly on the delicate items that he just has to hold. He then throws it into the trolley with, every ounce of strength that he possesses. So everything ends up dented and broken, but he has fun. So I suppose, swings and roundabouts kind of thing. So yeah, that's been wonderful the past couple of weeks that I've been absent. It's really helped my recovery. I disappeared from vlogging, I suppose, due to my mental health failing spectacularly. I plummeted in mood and became suicidal, so the crisis team ended up involved, which anyone that's dealt with them, it's never fun, and it's always full of unhelpful advice. Like, what did they tell me? If you're feeling desperate, put an ice cube on your wrist. Okay, but how does that keep me alive? I don't understand. And I do understand, obviously, the basic premise. If you're self-harming, you put an ice cube on your wrist, there's some kind of pressure ring, it helps. It doesn't, but anyway, I'm sure it helps somebody. There's also the other one, plunge your head into cold water. Okay. Apparently the risk of almost drowning in cold water helps keep you alive. Again, I understand it resets the body and everything else, but it's not helpful when you're suicidal. It's just one of those, okay, kind of things, so there's that. So I had to deal with the crisis team, and normally it's a long process. I mean, the NHS are strapped for cash and doing their best, but it's really not enough. So it normally takes a long time, and it's in the time before this one, it took me like 5 assessments, 3 appointments, and then they changed my meds. This time they were a lot quicker, but still not as helpful as you'd hope them to be, because despite the fact that they tell you that if you need them, call them, this, that and the other, when you call them, they're never forthcoming, you know, with an appointment or help. It's always, we'll think about it, you know, medication isn't the only answer, blah blah blah, and it's not totally. You know, you should never just try and treat it solely with medication. That's not going to address the underlying issue, and it's, you know, but it does give those struggling with mental health a fighting chance in you know, overcoming their hurdles, as it were. But they were much quicker this time, but it's never a quick fix. So they've more or less doubled up on one of my medications, which has helped my mood. I'm no longer suicidal, but I am experiencing particularly harsh side effects of the medication, in that I'm extremely tired, struggling to get up in the morning and overcome that feeling of exhaustion. Every joint in my body aches, not an exaggeration, and I'm getting massive headaches on a daily basis. Now, anyone that actually knows me personally will know that I've struggled with headaches for many years, and they are extreme, but I just overcome them. And then I had the whole potential stroke / Bell's palsy / they don't actually know what it was incident, which caused the headaches to come back, and then I just got them back down to a manageable thing, and now they've doubled my meds and they're back again, which isn't helpful because they're debilitating. It really does just stop you being able to do everything. And I've told my psychiatrist this and my CPN, and all they've told me is that they'd be happier if I continued with the dose I'm on now for another couple of weeks to see whether my body adjusts to it, and then if not, they'll drop me down. So that will have been 6 weeks from feeling suicidal to when they're willing to reassess my meds again. 6 weeks. And like I said, I'm no longer suicidal, so it has helped, but it's still not this massive turnaround that people think it is. You know, people think if you're suffering with mental health that you'll take your medication and you'll just bounce back like that, and it just doesn't happen. And if it does, it's normally short-lived. So yeah, I mean, I will give them their due. They have treated me much kinder this time round. As I said, 5 assessments and 3 appointments, and they kept changing my team, and I've finally got a CPN that I'm, you know, getting on with, because she's not patronising or judgmental, and, you know, she can speak English. Not that I'm against those of ethnic minorities, but when their English isn't very clear, it's less than helpful. And you do come across the occasional one that there is a bit of a language barrier with. But yeah, this one's great. So that's where I've been. It did take a very vivid description of where my head was at before they listened to me and increased my medication. I described how I was in front of a tunnel that was trying to draw me in, and if I go in the tunnel, it's suicide, and that's it, because there's no coming back. And I said it doesn't matter which way I turn or how many steps back I take, the tunnel is still in front of me, and it's rapidly becoming the only answer. And that's when they agreed to help me. So sometimes being very forthcoming with your professional team helps a lot. And those of you out there that are struggling with your mental health support team, if you're really not happy with your psychiatrist or your CPN or your support worker or whatever other heading they have, then you can change it. Because if you're not with a team that you get on with and that you feel understands you, then it's not going to benefit you in the long run. So please make sure that you are getting the help that you need, and it's okay to say that something isn't working for you. The amount of times they've tried to put me into group therapy, and it just doesn't work for me because of my extreme anxiety, and I suppose my Asperger's probably doesn't help. It ends up being more of an anxiety thing than a helpful thing, and they still keep trying to push me in that direction, and I keep basically saying, if that's where this is going, I'm done, which is what I said to my current CPN. If you try and anything that you're discussing now leads to group therapy, I'm gone. I'm not even going to, I'm not even going to carry on because it's not going to help me. And luckily, my current CPN agrees with me that it just wouldn't work. I'm quite a self-aware person, so if something's going wrong with my mental health or my medication, I am normally able to find the cause of it because of my experience personally and my work history, etc. That's not to say I'm an expert. I'm not claiming to be. In fact, the current medication that they've just doubled is a new medication on me. I've never come across it previously. I've never had patients that have been on it, so I'm assuming it's a newer one, at least in the treatment of bipolar, which my CPN confirmed. It is quite new. So yeah, but yeah, I'm self-aware, so when they don't listen to me, it can become a very frustrating situation, because it's like, well, I know what's happening. If you just listen to me, it will be, a lot easier. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm going to cut it short because I need to get my little man to bed. In my next vlog, I will discuss some of the techniques I'm using to help improve my mental health on a day-to-day basis, and hopefully my feelings of being a parent will have improved from feeling really shitty. So in the next vlog, I'll discuss some mindfulness stuff, some DBT stuff, which if you don't know what that is, tune into the next vlog and I'll explain it. As ever, thank you for staying with me. Please share, please like, and please subscribe. Thank you.